Hello and welcome. I'm Gill Walker, and today I am going to step you through what is a CRM scope document. The CRM scoping document is the document that describes what needs to be included and also what should be excluded from your CRM project. Scoping a CRM project is essential if the project is to be successful. However, undertaking the scoping is often thought to be a simple and quick task. There are two parts to a scoping. Prior to selecting a technology, the key and usually high-level requirements need to be identified so that the appropriate technology can be selected and the project not be compromised by the technology selection. Once the technology is selected, a more detailed exercise should be undertaken so that the implementation of the selected technology can happen uneventfully. While scoping can be straightforward, it does require the collation of a lot of information, often from many people and in different forms. This presentation aims to help you collect the appropriate information. The scope of the documentation can be difficult. It is essential to have enough documentation and of the correct sort and the right level of detail so that everyone knows what they need to know and it is available for reference later in the project. However, it is also possible to document for the sake of documenting, even to the point that so much time, money and energy is spent on documenting that the project runs out of steam before it really begins. Before we go into the detail of the scoping document, I'm going to review what CRM is. CRM comprises CRM, or Customer Relationship Management, is an overarching philosophy and strategy of how your organization interacts with your clients or customers. And of course, clients or customers may be known by many other names, including members, partners, citizens, students, patients, tenants, to mention but a few. A successful CRM implementation can transform your business from where it is today to where you want to take it, streaking ahead of your competitors. CRM technologies are very wide-ranging, and they range from being broad to very specific solutions for individual business areas. CRM is also a very comprehensive solution, which is reaching the point of being essential for all successful businesses. It is significantly more than just a database or just. In fact, CRM is to a database what a car is to an engine. The engine is essential, but there is a lot more besides. Over the next few minutes, I will show you an overview of CRM to give you some food for thought. Your CRM project should be as large or as small as your business requires. The previous slide can be distilled to these 6 areas. There is, of course, overlap between these areas. Let us look at each of them in a little more detail. Very few CRM projects will include all of these areas, and one of the initial functions for the scoping exercise is to decide which of these areas will give most value to your business. This is rarely a single answer because these areas do overlap and of course touch each other. However, a CRM project is usually led with one of sales, marketing or service, each of which usually includes some communication management, some reporting and analytics and automation. CRM and integration. CRM is the hub of customer information. However, many organizations have other systems which also require customer information. Integration is simply the sharing of information between two or more systems. This avoids data islands and silos and is beneficial because you can get the true all-round 360-degree view of the customer from one single source, which also avoids people acting on different information, and it is time-saving. Having the information in both systems can fundamentally be achieved in one of two ways. Rekeying the information, which is inherently error-prone and often bad for morale, or linking the two systems together so that information can be shared between them. Integration is the technical name for this linking. Integration can be done by a manual process of exporting information from one system and importing it into the other, or by some technical plumbing which transfers the information from one system to the other. Integration can be one-way or two-way. Although it is usually recommended to leave the implementation of the integration to CRM until CRM itself is working for you, it is important to look at potential integration points during your scoping exercise. This is because the future integration may change how CRM itself is implemented. So how do you scope your CRM project? The initial step of the scoping exercise is to understand the underlying drivers of the project. Usually, the underlying drivers are pains in the business, such as a lack of communication between marketing and sales, increasing cost of sales as a proportion of revenue, or decreasing support revenues. You may also be scoping now because you already have an ineffective CRM system and believe that it can deliver more to you. During this early stage of the process, it is also imperative to ensure that you have an internal driver of the project, the sponsor. Someone who believes in the value of the project, has the knowledge of the organisation, and is able to liaise at many levels. Here you should also have some idea of your budget. There are CRM systems that cost a few $100s to buy, and others that cost several $1,000s each year per user to rent. Then there is the implementation cost, which can vary from nothing if an absolute vanilla system meets your needs, to millions if you need lots of changes and integrations. There is little point spending time, effort and money on scoping out a project if you do not have the budget to implement it. We establish the success indicators of the project at this stage because many projects, once completed or abandoned partially completed, are deemed to have failed. If we know our success criteria, we can work to those criteria and ensure that we meet them. Success criteria should be measurable, i.e., an improvement in sales is less effective as a success criteria than an increase in sales revenue of 15%. A project that has met all its success criteria cannot be called a failure. What should you think about when scoping your CRM project? Which processes will be supported by CRM? Some of the many organizations that I've worked with have really struggled with the idea of processes. Business processes are simply the way that you do business. One of my clients thought that allowing people to design processes as they went along was encouraging creativity. When I told a friend of mine about this, her response was, "Things that grow organically grow mold." One of the many advantages of implementing a CRM solution is that you get the opportunity to introduce standardized processes or to refine your existing processes so that your processes are supported by the technology. Reviewing your processes is essential if you want to avoid implementing a broken process. For many people, thinking about a CRM project, the main process is their sales process. Having a well-structured sales process enables you to more accurately forecast your revenue and when you will receive it, and also the related necessary resources. What reports do you need CRM to produce for you? In many businesses, especially smaller businesses, users are asked to produce reports about what they have done or achieved, e.g., a sales report or a call list, as an additional task. This has multiple disadvantages. It takes time away from the user's core role, and it usually introduces the possibility of error because the report is separated from the actual activity. A well-implemented CRM solution will enable you to have your key reports in real time with no additional effort on the part of your users. What data needs to be brought into CRM? Data is a huge topic and sometimes becomes a project all on its own. Some of my clients have really struggled to even identify where their customer information is held. It is often all across the network, in email, local hard disks, file servers, and even just scribbled into notebooks. It is usually unstructured and often a collection of documents and spreadsheets, each of which was created to do a particular job with no standardization. All of these need to be found and analyzed before you start implementing CRM. Which of your teams or users will be the first to use CRM? These are the people whose business area will be analysed first and will get the first benefit. So they should be chosen so that they will form your first set of internal champions and be part of the success of the project moving forward. What data should be brought into a new CRM? The most important data is usually your customer and product. However, most organizations will also have information about their prospects and may have lists of quotes or orders raised for prospects or customers, and often there are invoices for customers. It is very important to consider what information does already exist and where this is located. Customer information can often be found in your accounting solution. However, this rarely contains any prospect information. Prospect will typically be scattered throughout Outlook and a miscellany of spreadsheets and other small databases. Product data and price data may be found in an accounting system or again in a variety of spreadsheets. When considering how and when this should be brought into CRM, there are a few things that must be considered. These are the current form that it is in and how it will be converted to match the structure that CRM will need it in, which is often very different to the format of the current system, even if they are both in the same sort of database. How often does the data get updated? This is important because it affects when the data can be extracted from the legacy system. And how important is the data moving forward? This is important because decisions need to be taken about the value of the data against the effort of bringing it in. There is also always the option of just leaving the data where it is and having a process that requires the use of CRM and one or more other products to complete particular tasks. This should be considered, and the benefits of having all the information moving forward in one place, as well as the ease for the user, compared to the effort of bringing in the data. Generally, the migration effort is a single, large, and perhaps painful effort for a few people, compared to an ongoing, niggling effort for many people. Identifying the areas to benefit the most from CRM. Repetitive processes can often be simplified, perhaps by a proposal template or by getting CRM to update itself rather than asking users to retype information. The benefits of this are time saving and hence money saving, as well as often morale improving. Errors cost money, both in absolute terms of the cost to fix and in the more intangible terms of their effect on customer perception of your organisation. I'm sure we've all heard stories of letters being sent to dead people and had experiences of incorrect information given to us as clients. If you cannot measure something, you cannot manage it. This is why reports that show you what is happening in your business in real time are essential and need to be part of the everyday process, not an additional activity. How does sales benefit from CRM? Sales is often the area that many people think of first when considering a CRM solution. It is the area where most benefits can often be achieved, because salespeople are often operating very independently, and many salespeople dislike paperwork intensely. However, creating a situation where the sales pipeline can be seen by everyone in real time and without any additional work, and where salespeople can focus on what they do best, i.e. relationship building and managing prospects and opportunities, while other people look after the administration, will reap dividends. Enabling salespeople to see trends of opportunities, both good and bad, across the entire team or even organisation, rather than just within their own funnel, can also help them to avoid repeating mistakes or wasting time on no-hope opportunities. Often salespeople are very sceptical of a CRM solution because they feel either that it will add to their administrative overhead or will allow management to spy on them. A successful project will show them the benefits to their job, i.e. more time in the field, with less administration and more information provided to them for the same amount or less data entry, and so will win them over. The key to winning over salespeople is to speak to the what's in it for me. A converted salesperson can often be the biggest advocate of the entire solution. Benefits to marketing from CRM. Everyone has heard the old adage, I know that half of my marketing is wasted, but I do not know which half. This happens because marketing traditionally has been difficult to track. Adverts were placed, exhibition stands rented, brochures printing, but the linking back from a particular marketing effort to inbound inquiries was not done. Organisations received leads and made sales, but it was difficult to know the source of those leads. This meant that it was impossible to learn which campaigns and lead sources were effective and so should be increased and which should be stopped. A well-implemented CRM solution that has focused on its marketing processes and requirements can avoid this. Marketing has frequently been berated by sales for not providing a suitable stream of leads or prospects. By creating processes where stages can be introduced, so leads are only passed to sales when they meet certain criteria, means that sales will only receive prospects who have worked through the earlier stages and so are already partway down the funnel. This means that marketing is elevated in sales' eyes. Leads can be nurtured by marketing to them until they are ready. Maintaining communication with prospects until they are ready to buy is a skill much better left with marketing people than salespeople, but doing it will increase the sales return of the entire organisation. The best returns from both sales and marketing will be achieved when there is high quality communication between the two areas and they are working as a team, passing prospects between them as appropriate. Benefit to post-sales management from CRM. Post-sales is often known as service. Many organisations lose money because they are obliged to assist clients and prospects who are not entitled to the service, or worse, have identified that a particular vendor is useful for supplying information but from whom they have no intention of purchasing. Others lose money because a client has overrun their entitlement. Implementing a more rigorous process to identify who should be getting service enables the focus to be given to the good clients and prospects. CRM can also facilitate a process to give some lower cost assistance to people who do not qualify for the full service. This can have multiple advantages. It assists clients and prospects perhaps more than they actually deserve, and it acts as a catalyst for the sale of the higher value product. Being able to identify which products are generating the most problems enables decisions to be made either about whether those products should be stocked or provided, or about their design. A knowledge base can be used either to enable more people to help customers or to enable customers to help themselves via a self-help website. The knowledge base itself can often be built by collecting the information that your technical experts already have and are supplying to their clients. At the same time, it can ensure that dedicated support people are the people helping those clients, so allowing the technical experts to focus on their proper job. Benefits from the communication management in CRM. The value of being able to readily check what communications have occurred between a particular client and your team is huge, and is an area where time is wasted in many businesses. It is also an area that generates skepticism because of the feeling that certain people will check up on others. However, the value of being able to see communications immediately prior to a meeting can save a reputation. It is also essential that when someone leaves an organisation, they are not able to take all the relationships that they've been paid to build with them. An effective CRM solution should also remove the necessity to copy team members on emails or to have shared email boxes. This also reduces the quantity of email that each person has to manage. In place of this flooding of email, each user is given the ability to proactively pull the correspondence that they require when they need it, i.e., the pushing of information is replaced by the pulling of information as required. Escalation, when, for example, someone misses a key deadline, is part of most businesses. However, if that escalation is dependent on a user remembering and asking for assistance or passing a task over, it is unlikely to be effective. CRM gives you the ability to write rules, and then CRM itself ensures that these rules are acted upon correctly. Jobs can be shared so that people can do what they do best. Because document production can be largely automated, this task can be removed from people who are more productive elsewhere. Shared email can be replaced by queues, which can be monitored by teams, so responding to these emails becomes more streamlined. Frequently used communications can be turned into templates, and then these shared throughout the organization as required. CRM will combine the standard template with data from the CRM database, and the same data entry can feed into reporting across many instances of that document and other activities. These templates will both standardize the resulting documents and reduce the time taken to produce them. Where appropriate, the documents can be produced at the point where they are required, e.g., printed at a remote printer to save postage and time. Multiple teams not located together can work together on problems with access to appropriate information in real time. Reporting in CRM. Reports can summarize what is happening by customer, by product, or by user. CRM gives you the ability to see what is happening in your business in real time and without your people having to generate additional reports in addition to their usual work. A report may also be used to produce client-facing documentation. Automation in CRM. Most businesses have areas where they are overworked or overstretched. What is the cost of an additional staff member? What would happen if this cost was instead invested in removing the repetitive tasks by getting the technology to complete them for you? Technology does exactly what it is told to do when it is told to do it. It also does not leave for a pay rise or a better opportunity or absorb human resources, nor does it require leave or super payments. Automation will remove several areas of possible human error, including typing and grammar errors, forgetting tasks or information, and the inability to do a required task. How much time could you save if certain emails could be sent without any or very little input from your staff? And when these emails are template based, you have the additional reassurance that they are sending the correct message with the correct look and feel, and that the spelling and grammar is exactly how it should be. So how do you document the scoping? It is usual to implement a few processes or single team or departments processes first to get some quick wins and then move on to some more. This can be thought of as divide and conquer. Once you have listed and prioritized your processes, you're in a position to work out if your implementation should be done as a single phase or multiple phases. It is usually better to do multiple phases to get some quick wins and to develop some internal ambassadors to your project. Any integration that you require between CRM systems and other systems that you have, for example your website or a financial system, are usually better left until a later phase so that CRM is largely sorted out when you start the integration. This is for a couple of reasons. Firstly, CRM is usually the master of this shared information because most information is needed in CRM before it can be used by the systems typically integrated to CRM. The exception to this rule is a lead capturing website, which usually lacks the structure of CRM, so CRM is still seen as the master, although the information will get to CRM after the lead capture system. Secondly, minor changes to CRM can be much more problematic if an integration has already been completed. When documenting process flows, it is important to document the to-be or future process flows rather than the current process flows. This means that you need to give significant thought to how you would like the process to work rather than how it is working, or perhaps not working, currently. The original way of documenting your requirements was a series of documents. First of all, a requirements document produced by you, the client. Secondly, a functional specification, usually produced by a business analyst, who should also have a good knowledge of the product function to be implemented and your business, and who may or may not be part of your organisation. This should be produced in conjunction with you and should be signed off. This is followed by a technical specification, which is then used by the technical team to implement the solution. Doing your own scoping is becoming much more common and may save you time and money. But the information that is needed to successfully implement the solution still needs to be collected. However, working with someone who both understands your business and knows the CRM technology is essential, or you will end up with a requirements document that states the obvious and falls short of the level of detail required. I have seen many examples of self-prepared scoping documents where the ability to capture customer addresses is listed. This is obviously important for most businesses, but with many CRM solutions, in fact probably all CRM solutions, it would be more expensive to exclude this functionality than to include it. However, this same document author will not include the reports, thinking that they are standard or not important. Often, especially working with modern products such as Microsoft Dynamics CRM, these documents can be reduced into one document because the tools and techniques used for the configuration are much more visual than previously, so the number of translation steps can be reduced. This is very much the trend, as many projects are now conducted more as work in progress with multiple small deliverables.
What have you been changing? Nothing. So this is on a new report.
With you. Other aspects of the scoping document. The aspects of the project mentioned here are simply standard project management, but surprisingly they are often overlooked. Is your current hardware adequate for the new solution? This includes servers if you're considering an on-premise solution, and desktops, laptops and perhaps mobile phones for both on-premise and cloud solutions. Should you choose your CRM to be on-premise or in cloud? This is a big decision and it will have an impact on the product that you select. Many CRM solutions are only available as one or the other. There may be similar solutions for cloud and on-premises, but they are not identical. Testing. A commonly made mistake is to test standard or out-of-the-box functionality, but not to test customizations or to not use your data. It is also important to test both the mainstream and the exception processes. An example of this is to test not only that you can take credit card payments when everything works, but that all of the variations when the credit card doesn't work are also tested and all work as expected. Testing should not be misunderstood. Time has to be allowed to do this thoroughly. And when problems are found, retesting needs to be done after the problem is fixed. There are several different types of testing, and different people are required for each. These types include unit testing, which is done by the developers as they produce their configuration. User acceptance testing, or UAT, done by selected users to ensure that the solution meets the scoped requirements. System testing, to ensure that the entire system is working as expected and at an appropriate speed, and if you've done any, integration testing, so that you are sure that the information that needs to pass between two systems does so exactly as expected. Training should be conducted so that each user gets the training that they deserve and as close to their go live as possible, and certainly not more than a fortnight before go live. This is key to maintaining their morale. Gaining the support of your users so that they will use the new technology is imperative if the solution is to be successful. Training is one of the ways to ensure that this does happen. Training is also required for the testers, especially for user acceptance testing, and this has to be done prior to the testing. There are many dates that will affect your project, and if these dates are not taken into consideration, you run the risk of the project falling behind or even failing completely. These include financial year and or quarter year dates if the year end, quarter end creates additional workload for team members or users. Leave that any members of your team, particularly longer blocks of leave that people have booked. You also need to think about leave booked by team members of your CRM team, because this may put additional work on your CRM team members so they are unable to complete the CRM project work in as much time. The availability of any resources that you require. Typically this will be external consultants or other resources that the project requires for a short time. The required due date. Must your project be in by the beginning of the financial year, or by the beginning of the month, or by some other date? If this is true, it needs to be checked and the project plan needs to be managed towards it. And finally, what are the delivery dates of any new hardware or anything else that the project is purchasing? These dates need to be known, because if they are late, they can push the remainder of the project late. So how do you collect this information? Key people are those people who know what a particular business area needs to achieve. They usually do not work within the process, or at least not within the low level of detail of the process, but are responsible for the results of these areas. These people may need to be assisted by their team leader or another person who is more familiar with the detail of the process. These people should be interviewed so that their requirements are fully understood and their knowledge of the process is fully captured. The reason for doing a wide-scale questionnaire is to capture the thoughts of other members of staff. These people often have good ideas, which without the questionnaire would be lost until they see the new solution. It is far more expensive to implement new functionality at this stage than to include it at the design stage. Process workshops require discussions where the detailed tasks and the people responsible for them, together with the outputs, are documented. This is often done using sticky notes so that they can be readily moved and rearranged. Once the sticky note document is prepared, it can then be transferred into Visio or PowerPoint or another similar tool. It is essential that the reports required from CRM are produced as a direct result of people doing their jobs and are not an additional task. I have worked with many organisations where several hours per week per person were lost because of the requirements to list calls or visits made or similar. So to conclude, CRM is significantly more than contact management or just a database, and this is why the scoping of the full breadth of the project, whatever the breadth of that is for you, is so important. CRM is to contact management like a Rolls-Royce is to a bike. If a bike meets your needs, then that is what you should buy, but don't buy a bike and expect it to perform like a Rolls-Royce engine. However, selecting a bike is usually much simpler than selecting a car, so with the scoping part of your CRM project. As a review, CRM can include contact management, communication management, sales and sales automation, marketing and marketing automation, post-sale or service, reporting from lots of different areas of your business, analytics, automation which takes away some of the routine tasks from your staff, and finally integration to other systems that also contain or require customer information or customer related information. While it is unlikely that your project will include all of these, it is important that they are not ruled out through ignorance. If you are able to generate a document that gives all of the necessary information, you will be able to implement your selected CRM technology without too many surprises, whether you use internal staff or an external consulting company such as my company Opsis, or a mixture of the two to do your implementation. Even if your document is not complete, if it includes much of the information discussed here, it will undoubtedly save you money. I work for Opsis. I am the founder and owner of the company. We are a CRM specialist consultancy and we're based in Sydney, Australia, although we have worked with clients up and down the east coast of Australia. We have been a Microsoft partner now for over 3 years and we have the CRM competency. We specialise in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. We don't do other Microsoft Dynamics products and we don't offer other CRM solutions. We offer Microsoft Dynamics CRM and a range of services around that. We have been working with Microsoft Dynamics CRM since 2002. And more broadly, I have been working with CRM solutions since 1997. If you would like any assistance with your CRM scoping project, please do feel free to contact me by any of the means listed below. I'm happy to take calls on my mobile, on my landline, or via Skype, and there is more information on our website www.opsis.com.au, and there is more information about me on my LinkedIn profile. Of course, I'm also happy to connect with you via LinkedIn. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.